Hi, this is Ian's Truth Be Told, True Crimes, Part 7. And I'm just going to quickly go back to Part 6 because there was a couple of bits that I'd missed out. So on this document, it's at the top here, it's got that Mum went into hospital as her first attendance on this attendance sheet on the 22nd of January 2007. It's got the 29th of the 1st 07 and then the others, but these dates are incorrect as well. So the 22nd of the 1st 07 was the actual date that the letter was typed. Mum went in on the 14th of the 1st 07 when she fell and fractured her right wrist, and she was there on the 15th of the 1st 07 when she went in and had it. The date here, 22nd of the 1st 07, is the date that the letter was typed. Let me just show you. Okay, so this is the letter from when Mum went into the hospital on the 14th of the 1st 07. It says there, 14th of the 1st 07, but the letter was typed on the 22nd of the 1st 07. And they've used that as the attendance date, as the first attendance date for my mum. But it wasn't. The first attendance date was the 14th of the 1st 07. The 22nd was the date that the letter was typed. And I'm just pointing that out because Lindsey Ainsworth of the coroners, that's the coroner's assistant and also a police officer with Devon and Cornwall constabulary, on her letter that she sent to the GP surgery on the 23rd, that she sent on the 28th of May 2018, it says that Mum died on the 23rd of May 2018, but the letter that she sent was sent on the 28th. Now she's saying that my mum died on the 28th, and that's what's been put down on the death certificate, and it is in the first opening statement of the coroner's inquest that Mum died on the 28th, but she died on the 23rd, as you saw by the letter in the part 2 that shows that letter. And also in part 2 is the coroner's mortuary witness statement that's also signed by Lindsey Ainsworth. That also has Devon and Cornwall constabulary on the letter itself, and it says that Mum died on the 24th, which was the day that I saw and said goodbye to my dead mum. It's also the date that my friend Joe, who was the site manager, stopped and spoke to me in the hospital and sent me the letter on Facebook Messenger to say how sorry she was to see me so upset in the hospital earlier. I'm just pointing these facts out because I think it's just madness that they've used the date that the letter was typed as the date that was my mum's first attendance date, when clearly her first attendance date was the 14th of the 1st 07 and the 15th of the 1st 07. I'm just pointing those facts out because there's something very wrong with all of this. Okay, this is a handwritten letter that's in the hospital records of the 222 pages. This is handwritten, and it says that Mum was there on the 15th of the 5th, 2018. And it says that the husband was a full-time carer for 5 years. Declining cognitive function for 12 years, significantly for the last 5 years. But this isn't true at all. Mum didn't have any signs of dementia until she ran into the glass door in 2014, and that was in end of August, September 2014. She ran into the glass door. She didn't have any signs of dementia at all. Nothing. And it says here that she had it for 12 years, but more so in the last 5. Now that's not true at all. He wasn't the carer for the last 5 years of her life. He was the carer for the last 3 years of her life, because she only got diagnosed in 2016, which would be 2 years. But in 2015, after she ran into the glass door, which was at the end of 2014, she started losing her memory then. She didn't lose her memory before that point. It was just from then onwards. By February 2015, 2015, I was asked to sign lasting power of attorney for my mum because she was forgetful, but she was still absolutely fine in herself. She was just forgetful. Anyway, this letter's handwritten. This medical record is handwritten, and I recognise the handwriting in this record. It's handwritten, and it says that she was that they saw the husband recognised declining cognitive function 12 years before, but more so the last 5. Like I say, it was 3 or 4 years. It wasn't even 4 years. It was 2 or 3 years that she was really losing her memory, and it was only because she ran into the glass door. It says here at home, Pat needs assistant to wash, dress, can independently move about the house, but needs guiding room to room. Absolute nonsense. She could run up and down the stairs. She knew the way around the house. It was her house. She'd lived there for all of her life, really, all her adult life anyway. It's just nonsense about this. Unable to put on her own clothes. Well, she could get dressed herself. She probably needed a bit of a hand towards the end, because after she was diagnosed, she was just getting worse after that. But it wasn't until she ran into that glass door. Eyesight tested 2 years ago. She couldn't find her glasses from 2015 onwards. It says here, had noticed Pat finds it difficult to find spoon in bowl or food on plate. It was absolute nonsense, that, because I've got pictures of her having Christmas dinner in her house on Christmas Day 2017, and she was eating with a knife and fork then. She could eat it absolutely fine. Absolute nonsense, this. Also, it says needed to be guided towards drink. Well, that's just nonsense as well. She could pick up a glass or a cup of tea or a glass of orange juice. She'd have a glass of orange juice every morning for breakfast. She could eat a yoghurt in a pot with a little teaspoon. If change in texture, e.g. step, finds it difficult to see and judge the next step. And again, this is nonsense, because on the day that she apparently fell, she walked out of the house, down 2 steps. She walked down the path to the car. She got in the car herself. She wasn't helped by anyone. I didn't help her. She was unaided, and she walked all the way down the steps, down the path. She got in the car herself, and she was driven to the hospital for an hour and a half. She was in the car. She didn't have a problem with steps or anything like that. She was quite fine on her feet, and she used to run about no problem at all. It does say here, TEP decision does not believe resuscitation is in Pat's interest. And I think that's disgusting, because it would have been in my mum's interest to be resuscitated, seeing as she only went in there on the 21st. I was told she had an operation, though I wasn't told what it was, on the 22nd. She looked awful on the 22nd. It was my birthday. She looked awful on the 23rd, and on the 24th she was dead. The coroner's assistant, Lindsey Ainsworth, said that she died on the 23rd, the night of the 23rd, and she also identified her on the 24th. She's a coroner's assistant, and she's a Devon and Cornwall constabulary police officer, I presume, as well, because it's on those documents. This document is just nonsense. It says that she was there on the 15th of the 5th, and she wasn't there until the 21st, and she didn't have an operation on this date. She apparently had an operation on the 22nd, on my birthday. Now, this document, I'm just reading this out to you because of the fact that there's the GP, her doctor's letter that states that her and her husband, the doctor and mum's husband, first noted signs of memory loss in 2016. I'm going to come to that in a minute. So an awful lot of this is just written to make it look like mum was sicker than she was, and in hospital for longer than she was, and then it's just awful. Now again, this is the doctor's letter. And it's to the coroner for the coroner's report, and it's got his name there because this is what the coroner's report is. But in this letter, this is from the doctor to the coroner, and it says that, let's just cover that bit up for a minute. It doesn't matter anyway, because this is a letter that I've received from my solicitors. But in this letter, it says, her husband and myself first noted memory impairment in 2016. However, at this point, she refused referral to memory clinic. So the letter that you've just read says that she had memory difficulty for 12 years, but also in the last 5 years, which would taking it back to 2013. And this letter that is from my mum's doctor to the head coroner for the coroner's inquest says that her husband and myself, as in the doctor, first noted memory impairment in 2016. Okay, so this is a letter that's also in the document, in the hospital records. It's also in the GP surgery records, and it states that it's to validate that letter that I've just shown you that was handwritten. And it says that cognitive decline over several years. She got diagnosed on the 21st of June 2016, which she did. Moderate Alzheimer's, dementia, mixed type. The actual, when she was diagnosed, there's actually a proper note that's from the radiology department that's got the true reason why my mum had dementia as well. And I'll get to that in a minute. It says in this, though, that my mum, together with her husband and her sisters, went and she was diagnosed on the 21st of June 2016. First noted by the family in 2007, which is where that 12 years comes from. Well, in 2007, mum fell and fractured her right wrist on the 14th of the 1st, 2007. She had a plaster cast done on the 15th of the 1st, 2007. They're trying to say that she had dementia from 2007, and she didn't. She fell and fractured her right wrist in 2007, and she was a fit and healthy lady in 2007. It says here that she declined memory clinic in 2014. Now, again, this isn't true, because she didn't actually have anything wrong with her until 2014 when she ran into the glass door. And in the letter from the doctor to the coroner's inquest, the doctor says that she declined memory clinic in 2016, not 2014. On this letter, it says that she was an ex-smoker and quitted a while ago. My mum never smoked at all. She hated the fact that both her husband and her two sons both smoked. I don't smoke. I haven't smoked now for 7.5, nearly 8 years at all. And my brother did smoke, and my father did smoke until he was 56. My mother never smoked, not once. At the bottom of here, it says chair, and there's a lady's name there, and I'm going to come to her later on. And it says chief executive, and it's got her name there as well. Now, I think it was in part 1 or part 2 of the evidence. There's a letter, and it was this lady who did the full investigation. That's her name there, the chief executive. That's her name on that. And she was the one that couldn't find any altered dates. But if you go back and you look at the other parts, you'll see that there's 21 plus altered dates in the hospital records. Now, she must have been looking with her eyes shut, because she couldn't find any, and yet there was loads. And there's loads of stuff wrong with this records. This lady, these two ladies, are quite important as well. So I will come back to them as well. I've covered their names up, but I know who they are. One of them is the lady who couldn't find any altered dates anyway. But this letter, the whole of this letter, which is in the hospital records, it's in the GP records, and it's to validate the 2018 hospital records that are handwritten by someone who had writing that I recognise. But yeah, it says here that mum smoked and quitted a while back. And we're going to come to that in a second as well. Okay, so quickly look at the bottom here. Never smoked tobacco, never smoked. This is 2009, but this is the GP records, and it's right the way through all of the records that my mother never smoked. My mother's doctor was her doctor for 14 years. My mother never smoked. Yeah, in that letter that validates the 2018 hospital records, it says that she was a smoker and quitted a while back. Okay, so this is the true record of why my mum had dementia, and in it says that she was attending memory clinic in early 2016. She was tested for dementia on the 21st of June 2016, and it says here what they found out, but it also says that she had her dementia was caused by a metal dental artifact. Now, I've been told by a neurologist that if my mum ran into a door as hard as when I said she ran into that door in 2014, if she ran into it then a dental artifact could have gone up into her brain then. That's what I've been told by a neurologist. And that's the only time that we can think of when she would have had that happen. But that's what the cause of the dementia was it was caused by a metal dental artifact. So this is what the true cause of it was. And this is part 7 of Ian's Truth Be Told True Crimes about my late mum going into hospital and dying in 3 or 4 days, and the hospital, the coroner, the GP practice, all of them say that she died in 14 days. She died in 4 days, and the coroner's office sent a letter to say that she died on the 23rd of May, and also the same lady identified her body on the 24th of May 2018. She went in on the 21st. She died on the 23rd. I saw her dead on the 24th. They can't get it right, and they have said all these other things, but it's all untrue. And I'm showing you and proving my point and proving that all of the records are so mixed up, and yet they're saying that she was there for 14 days still. This is part 7, Ian's Truth Be Told, True Crimes. Please watch everything from the beginning, from part 1, where I tell the story. Part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is all the evidence of the altered dates within the records, and the fact that so many things contradict each other. The records, the typed records, are to validate the 2018 handwritten records. A lot of the records, the hospital records, were typed on the 8th of July 2020. The GP records were all typed on the 24th of June 2020 at 9:41, because it says it on every single page throughout the whole of the GP records. So the records were actually typed to validate the records in 2020. Thank you for watching.